Okay. I just finished listening to the bells in Ajijic, and they were playing Ave Maria. They always play Ave Maria at noon. It's quite lovely. Anyway, hello, everybody. Boy, I tell you, I highly recommend people do retreats that pull you forward, okay? Not just retreats for the sake of doing a retreat, that really pull your thinking forward. I've already signed up for the next week long that the non-dual guys are going. And it's not even seeing them as gurus or anything. It's just what happens in my mind, hearing the truth. And, it's unequivocal. When I hear it, I may not like it, but I know it's true. I mean, that's really how I've gone through this whole process my entire life. I've gone from one to another, and there's always some element of, wow, interesting. I hadn't thought of that before, or there's something that really feels right here, or whatever. And it's following that line of breadcrumbs back to God is kind of the way I see it. So with this last week, I really went into loving myself. I really wanted to experience the truth of who I am. And this has never been an easy thing for me in the parable of Calico. So I really put together a few things here because I'm just going to present it and take what you need, leave the rest. So I want to go back to this idea of what we're doing is mind training. And we're used to seeing the world through our senses: touch, taste, sight, sound, feeling. Okay. That's the way we've been trained to see this horizontal dream. And what the mind training is to switch it, because the opposite side of that, seeing the world as a perception through our senses, is seeing the world through the truth. No senses needed, none. It's just the truth. And that's why this comes into the truth is, I'm perfect, you're perfect, I'm love, you're love. There is no right or wrong. That comes through perception land. Anyway, so I don't want to jump ahead. So I know I've mentioned this before, but it's like the way we think in projection land is seeing everything is okay. Yeah, it's okay, which is more like I can put up with it. Okay, if the truth were said, it's more like I'll put up with it. And it's okay. That's people pleasing. So there's something going on that we're not really wanting to be honest about, and we'll just say, I'm okay. It's the thing I was saying before. I'm fine. Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. But I'm fine. I'm fine. And people just go, oh, good. Everyone likes it when everyone's fine. So that's people pleasing. The other way through projection land is to make ourselves wrong. And this will show up with sickness. This will show up with not liking the way we look or act or sound. It's something in the personal projection, but it's still a projection. And so we can be projecting it out there on something else, or we can be projecting it here. And so there's two ways of projection. It's either projecting it on my body or projecting it on somebody else out there. And that's one step away from projecting it on myself, because it's easier to deal with the projection on someone else. Okay. That's the way we were trained to think. Now, what we're doing with this, what a lot of people are doing is to really come to this understanding on the opposite side of projection is just seeing everything as the truth, or seeing everything through love only. And once you get into this seeing all through love only, you're in what's known as a mystical state. And it's a state, it's almost a transition to really accepting you are the creator of everything, and everything is love, which is really living in the truth. So there's a mystical state prior to that where it's this, we're learning, and it's a lot of contemplation. This is where contemplation comes in. And I can't say enough about contemplation, although I will today. I found this, which I thought was very helpful. Before the mystical union is the gift of contemplation. It is the invitation to this higher life to be unfolded. So we're seeing projection doesn't work. So now we're switching to this third option of a way to see. We are devoted to the truth. And we're not going to let ourselves switch back and forth. So we're going to eliminate trying to find a solution in anything. We're not going to be attempting to find something where it can't be found. That's all out there in the world. Or to fix something that isn't broken. And this is all contemplation. This is what goes on in our minds. This is the critical piece of mind training. So before the mystical union is the gift of contemplation. It's this devotion to the truth in this instant, and not being willing to fall into projection land, whatever the projection looks like. And really coming back into Holy Spirit, I really don't want to see it like this anymore. And so this is contemplation land. And again, there's no true distinction lines in this. But the mystical land is after we've done enough of this, holding the truth and not allowing ourselves to fall into these just familiar patterns of seeing everything. It's a way of seeing right and wrong, good and bad, up and down. I mean, it's just this very dualistic way of thinking, because that's what we were trained with. And so at some point, and again, and I'll say this right, this is probably not for beginners new to A Course in Miracles, because it's like you have to see the world of projection versus living in that truth of I am just love, period, no exceptions. And so it's that contemplation of seeing what we're thinking and go, oh God, I just made them wrong, or oh, I'm still having not good thoughts about them. Whatever, I don't like the way my body is, whatever the thoughts are, and not accepting them. Really going, nope, I'm committed to the truth, and this is not the truth. This is just a bad habit that I learned how to think. Okay? So the third option is what we're working on. So, it's okay, everything's just fine, fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, or I'm being harsh and judgmental with myself, or I'm being harsh and judgmental with you. Okay, those are the ways that we usually live in the horizontal land. So the third or the fourth time way of seeing is it's through the devotion to the truth in this instance, and not allowing ourselves to fall into the next conversation. So it may be, oh, I'm trying to think. I'm tired. And the next thought, which is the second thought away from God, oh, maybe I need to take a nap. And then you go into the third thought away from God. Well, maybe I need to take something to pick up my energy. So that's the way that projection land works. And that's how we separate from God. So once we're with this third option, we're devoted to the truth. As soon as we hear ourselves think that thought, I'm tired, stop immediately. Now this has to go to Holy Spirit immediately, because we're in this vulnerable place that we could continue on moving away from God, or we can stop this process, see that we're doing it, and learn a different skill of how to be with it. So it really is eliminate trying to find a solution for anything, attempting to find something where it can't be found, or fix something that isn't broken. And the only one that can do that is us. And it's just putting the brakes on. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently, and then allow whatever that is that needs to come up, and you'll be shown, because Holy Spirit, once the prayer goes out to Holy Spirit, the answer is there. The answer is actually there before the prayer to Holy Spirit, because you're devoted to truth now. And so this, as we do this over and over again, allowing this contemplation to take over our lives, then we move into this mystical place. And this is where we start thinking only through truth. And I feel like I'm at the baby steps of that right now. It's not like I don't have projections that come up. In fact, I just handled one this morning. And it was basically through this retreat, there was someone in the retreat that I thought, God, we used to have such a great relationship, and now we never even talk. And they happen to live here in Mexico. And I thought, I should reach out to them. Very quick thought. And I immediately wanted to go, oh, no, I don't need to do that. It's just we've gone separate ways. Well, I reached out to her, and it was lovely. We're going to be joining later on and just reconnecting. But you see, most of us, and I'll just say it for me, I tend to dismiss those little thoughts that come through of, maybe I should reach out. Maybe I should call someone. Maybe I should. I mean, it's a doing, but it's not really a doing. It's kind of like just a joining. And it's like, and it's just listen, and Holy Spirit will tell you in the way you need to hear it. It'll be quite amazing. But as you do this more and more and more, you move into mystical land. And it's where you only see the truth, you only receive the truth, and you can only extend the truth. And so with that, I'm just going to leave this. I am love, no exception. Fear is just denied love, resisted love. Conflict is just denied love, resisted love. Anger is just denied love, resisted love. Frustration is just denied love, resisted love. Confusion is just denied love, resisted love. Sadness is just denied love, resisted love. Sickness is just denied love, resisted love. I am love, no exception. So with that being said, I mean, again, this is really what I got from non-dual, is like when we start doing the mind training from I am love, and really being with that, not just saying it, really allowing that in. And then anything that comes through our thought system that isn't I am love, that's for me to pause immediately and go into contemplation. And without contemplation, you're just going to get more of the same. And I'd say, don't even bother watching these videos because they're not going to be helpful. I really want to work with, and it's only because I want to work with myself at this point of, I don't have a lot of projections that come through, certainly not as many as when I first started this process. But when they do, I do not back away from them. This is when the Course is talking about going towards them. Having that thought, I am tired. And instead of just allow it to continue to fall down the hill, oh, maybe I should take some valerian. Oh, maybe, it's like, stop it and come back and ask for help. To see that, to get on a different path of thinking. So that we're not just falling into this land of projection and perception. We're going for the truth now. And we're going to actively deny anything that is coming from our senses, actively deny it so that we can switch actually to vertical. It's definitely the vertical. And it's anytime you pray to Holy Spirit to help, that's vertical. And then you go in a whole different, it's still a path, but it has a whole different flavor to it. And it's not like it has ever been in the past, is all I can say. People say, in fact, I even heard it this morning, that, yeah, there's nothing to do. Quit reading the book. There's nothing to learn. And it's like, oh, that's not been my experience. There's a lot to learn going on the vertical path, because I've never been on the vertical path before. I've just been falling through the projection in the horizontal. So once I make this commitment, and it seems like it needs to be made a lot, but I don't know what the results of it are going to be ever. And that's where we have access to miracles through this vertical that are not available to us on the horizontal. But it takes our commitment to the truth of accepting I am love, period. And if I am love, guess who's also love? You are. So if I see something out there that's not love, guess who I'm denying the love to? Me. I'm not liking something about me. And the only one I can correct at that point is to go back and see, where am I not loving myself? Where am I holding something against myself? And a lot of times it's just resisting love. It's denying love. It's so much easier just to project something out there and then walk away. Why? Because that's the way I've done it my entire life. It's a bad habit. And, we could be talking about getting off drugs and alcohol in this Zoom. We could be talking about quitting cigarettes. Maybe we could, but the reality is we're training our mind. And at some point, and I need to, I'll just own it. I was in AA and I took an 18-year chip. And it was at that point I could no longer be part of AA because I could no longer see myself as broken. And I was just repeating, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an alcoholic. And I need to say it serves a very useful purpose. At some point, though, you've got to move on and accept a new teacher. And that's what I did. I moved on to Course in Miracles and David Hoffmeister. Now it's non-dual devotion. I mean, it's like, when my mind is ready, the teachers appear. And it's, like, I won't take it personally if I stop being something that can call you forth, because yeah, it happens. And it's like there's somebody for everybody. And I'm just sharing my path as I go through it. It's not even, I'm not there wherever there is. No, but I'm not there yet. I still have these thoughts that come up of they don't like me. Or I don't like the way I share things sometimes. Those are those thoughts. And it's like, stop immediately. No, you forgot your love. Oh, right. I'm love. Holy Spirit, help me bring this back. And there will be some, or not, I don't even know. For me, it's usually there's been some correction, not always big corrections, but minor corrections to get me back into the vertical. Because if I'm telling myself, oh, I wish I hadn't said that, that's a horizontal path. And I ask for help, boop, okay. And Holy Spirit comes through and usually tells me, you just forgot how perfect you are once again. Bad habit. And this is the correction. It's kind of like, I don't, if you're smoking cigarettes, you've got to put the cigarette down if you want to quit smoking cigarettes. It's the same with my thoughts. If I have a perceptual thought in this stream of death, like, I wish I hadn't said it that way, that's me putting that cigarette down and going, okay, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And so I just know it works because I've had so many miracles. And it's like one thought at a time. And it seems like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Maybe, I don't know. But I know that it works because I've had so many miracles result as a matter of me changing my mind. Miracles don't show up if I don't change my mind. That's been my experience. And that's where humility, and we'll talk about humility sometimes, but humility is basically me telling myself, you don't know everything, Calico, and you're heading into a bad neighborhood. And it's for me to go, you're right. Absolutely. And then start praying to Holy Spirit. Okay, so with that, it's going to be a short one for you YouTubers. Bye, YouTubers. We're going to get into our little room here.